Light it up.
Hey guys, it's Vert here, coming with the Archer skills. Just gonna do a quick run through, show you guys what has forward guard, super armor, CCs, etc. so you can get that jump start against all others. Alright, let's run through the skills. Spirit Arrow, this is just gonna be your auto attack, L and B. Nothing too crazy, except for the fact that Piercing Cry actually scales off this damage. Piercing Cry, this is gonna be super armor when it's off cooldown, and it's also going to be one of your main mobility skills, so I'll show that off real quick. Got to be in the pre-awaken. Basically you can use any ability, so like we use RMB and then left click, and it's just a little hop. It is going to be super armor. It's on a very short cooldown, only 3 seconds. It's a nice little super armor mobility skill. You can also use it after some other skills that we'll show later on for some more mobility. Hopping into the next skill, or I guess I'll show you the passive. Haste is just going to be a 10% move speed buff that you have at all times. Then we hop down here. Glide, this is your little slide, gives you a 10% move speed buff, super armor while moving, and only on the 2-second cooldown. So that's going to be your little slide. Something you can do, you can slide forward, L and B, you know, get that super armor movement going. Slide forward, L and B. You can also slide to the left, to the right. And that's actually the next skill that I was going to show. The next skill is Zephyr Leap, and this is shift and back. This is forward guard when it's off cooldown, so make sure not to spam it, obviously, if you want to keep that protection. But it's just a little hop backwards, good mobility and forward guard on that. Next skill is Ragon's Spirit. This skill is not too important at all. I don't think you'll be using it much. It does give some decent mana back, but it's just gonna look like this. Nothing special, it just gives mana back, no protection. Next skill is gonna be Earth Kick. It does apply a DP debuff and it's a bound, but in BDO, I mean, how often are you really using kicks, right? Next is gonna be Purging Shot. This is used after the kick, Earth's Tremble, or Vine Cutter, and you kind of saw it there. You just F again. It has a down smash on it, so I mean that's decent to extend CCs, but I think there's better down smashes in the kick. Next, we're going to go over to Breath of the Spirit. This is actually a really interesting setup and a really interesting skill. So what it is you have a grenade, which is, it's called Exhale. I've been calling it a grenade because it, you know, it looks like a grenade. But essentially, you have this grenade and Breath of the Spirit. So Breath of the Spirit, you're going to put it on your hotbar, and you can either hit left, right, or down to change the effects of your grenade. The different effects are right here. Recover, this is going to give you HP and MP. Stun is going to give a stun rate chance of 20%. And Declaration, which is going to give a negative attack and cast speed on the target. So what this looks like, you hit 3, and in this skill you can choose any of the options, and then that'll affect your grenade. So you see we threw a white grenade there. And then it's a short cooldown, fast cast. So you change the grenade there, it's still on cooldown. We'll use it here in a second. Just like that. Those are the grenades, Breath of the Spirit, and the different effects. Now we'll move on to the next skill, Bullet Kick. This is gonna be a forward guard actually. So just a little tiny kick, short cooldown, nice little forward guard. It's gonna give you a knockback. You can also combo Purging Shot off of this, which is decent. So if you go forward F into F, you'll get that bound, or down smash if they're already on the ground. Next skill is Ascending Spirit. Ascending Spirit is gonna be down F, another kick skill. Kicks sometimes can be used for cancels, so we'll have to mess with that later on. But as of right now, I wouldn't worry too much about the kicks. Next is going to be Vine Cutter. This is going to be used after Ascending Spirit, which is the down F. So you hold F after this. And then you can also combo Purging Shot after that. Again, Purging Shot not safe, but does have that bound, which would be nice. And then you also have this. So we have a couple kicks that have forward guard, which is interesting to mess with. Because outside of that, I mean, Archer does have a backpedal block. So it'd be nice to have some skills that you can activate to actually get that block. We'll have to play with them and see how good the forward guard actually is. Next is going to be Gaping Darkness. Probably my favorite name for a skill out of any of the classes I've played. Just going to be RMB or forward RMB on a tough cooldown. And what that gives you is a stiff on good hit. So in PvP, you could use that as a quick little stiffness if you're up close and personal. And then we have some flows off of that. So after Gaping Darkness, there's Shadow Slash. If you press RMB again, and then down RMB will give you Verdure Clout, which will give you a float, air attack, and air smash. It's actually decent for combo. This also has a forward guard on the first hit, so you can get that float off if you're fast. So what this looks like right there. Got the air attack, the air smash, knocks him away. Decent little mix-up combo. If you're up close and personal, you could get it off. Outside of that, I don't know how reliable it's going to be. Moving on to the next skill. This is Ensnare. We actually need to put this on our hotbar. Ensnare. This is going to be your debuffing skill and buff. This gives you 24% crit rate for 10 seconds. Negative 15% move, attack, and cast speed on the enemy. And it's also super armor. So it's a very short range, and it looks something like this. It does pull in PvE and spin in PvE, but not in PvP. So it's a good buff for yourself and debuff on the enemy. You know, I would only use it when you're in a safe position because the animation is kind of slow and it doesn't have any real CC on it. Moving on to the next skill, Meteor Dive. This is one of your best mobility skills. It's going to be space in a lot of situations. It's going to look like that. Combos really nicely with a lot of your movement. One of the movement cancels that people are using right now is just space into LMB, space, LMB, space, LMB. So you get the super armor rotation. You have to be careful though, because there are going to be gaps where it's not super armor, right? But it's still good mobility for the stamina cost. On Meteor Dive, there's also there's super armor, like I said, when it's off cooldown, and there's also a stiff, which, you know, could come in handy again for the up close and personal combos. Next is going to be Covering Fire. This is just side F. Kind of looks like Will of the Wind a little bit. We'll do it one more time so you can see it. Something I've noticed about this is you can use this skill to kind of cancel the animations the same you can with the slide of a skill that we'll get to here in a second. But outside of little cancels, I haven't found this skill too incredibly useful. Doesn't have any buffs, debuffs, CC on it. Has down attack, but again, not that great of damage, at least for now. This is going to be Stormlight. This is down E. This skill very, very slow. I haven't found any cancels for it yet. This is what it's going to look like right here. It's got a wind-up animation, just multiple shots. It does have a knockdown at the end, and I mean the skill itself has, you know, it has stiffness on good hits, knockdown on good last hit, knockback on good hits. So if nothing gets resisted, I guess you could lock them into place, but it seems like more risk than what the reward is worth. Moving on to the next skill, Wing Strike. This is going to be your side-to-side movement. It's got a knockdown on first hit, go back and forth. You can also go forward and back, and it'll put you in your bow, and it actually will leave you in your bow and will allow you to use that same skill in bow form, which is pretty cool. Next skill we have Wraith of Nature. This is going to be your shift Q. It has a down attack, down smash on it. It gives you 8 ranged AP upon using the skill for 10 seconds, as you can see right here, which is pretty interesting. Could be a nice little buff to get more damage out of your combos. Next is going to be Shatter Earth. This is kind of your shotgun for Ranger. It's going to look like this. So it's got 2 shots that pop off. As you can see, it has a little bit of a wind-up animation at the beginning, and there's something you can do to cancel this. A couple different things, actually. So one is using the Will of the Wind skill, which is side F right here, into Shifty. And then another would be using your slide to cancel it. So you could slide into Shifty, and that'll cancel the wind-up animation. Nice little trick to use, you know, day one. Next skill we're going to use is going to be Bolt of Radiance. This is going to be your shift R&B. It also has your pre-awaken 100% on it. It's going to be one of your hardest hitting skills. It has super armor on it, has a knockdown, and applies a burn. 50 damage every 3 seconds for 9 seconds. So that's going to get you an extra 150 damage. Quick maths. Here's the skill. Good range, knockdown, and a super armor. Very strong skill on a 14-second cooldown. This is going to be probably one of your most used pre-awaken skills, as it does give protection and a CC. Next, we're going to move on to Arrow Explosion. It's going to be your shift F. This will give you a down attack. Other than that, it's just kind of used for raw damage. Does hit pretty hard at max level. 80% crit. Show you what that looks like right here. Little step back, air attack, knockdown. The knockdown is only for PvE, keep in mind, but it's still a very cool skill. The passives for Ranger are going to be critical and ranged AP, alternating every level, all the way up to level 50. Infinite Mastery, every class has this. Skilled Hunter, every class has that. The Absorb for the class is going to be 30 AP and 25% attack and cast speed for 60 seconds. Alright guys, that's going to do it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed our first YouTube video. We will be going live with the class on the 12th. There will be plenty of guides following up as we learn more about the class, as we unlock the new skills that we don't have access to, and of course, some PvP action. So if you guys have more comments or questions about the Archer, feel free to leave them below, or check me out at twitch.tv/Vert. Come say hi. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you later. Peace.